Antichrist who's coming, it's actually not a beast. And that is the very reason that the church is going to worship him, because we are prepared to meet a monster beast. But the person who is coming to us is not going to be manifested as a beast, but as a great admiration. And it's not only a great admiration, but he's also coming with irresistible gifts that I'm extremely concerned that the pulpit is actually not saying anything about the irresistible gifts that he's coming with. War, as we are being prepared for, it's actually his last option. But the majority of the church, because of these irresistible gifts,
your money is coming. Your money is coming.
They are going to be caught in that wave when he must manifest himself as the great admiration. But before we look at these gifts, I will give you 3 reasons why the church is going to receive this man. Reason number 1, when we read scriptures like Revelation chapter 13, when it says, I saw a vicious beast coming from under the seas, we usually tend to think that that is how he's going to manifest himself. But he's actually going to be manifested as the most captivating, the most mesmerizing man the world has ever known. Apostle John, he was shown these 2 entities of the end time, Mystery Babylon and the Antichrist. And upon seeing Mystery Babylon, there's something curious that John says. He says, and after I saw Mystery Babylon, I wondered with great admiration. John is saying after he saw Mystery Babylon, he wondered with great admiration. It literally had to take the angel that was speaking to him to make him snap out of the hypnosis. If John in a vision was captivated and he said, I wondered with great admiration, imagine me and you. And Revelation chapter 13 continues to communicate the same idea. It says, all the earth was in admiration after the beast. Instead of disdain and abhorring what we will be seeing, the first natural inclination is going to be admiration. How do I know that we are going to be filled with great admiration just like the world? Firstly, because of John's reaction, it was similar. And secondly, remember during the pandemic, when the world provided a solution for us, we began promoting the solution from our pulpit. It made sense for us to take the solution. So that was just God showing the church, this is how you are going to behave when Mystery Babylon comes and the Antichrist comes. It is going to make sense. Before we look at these gifts, let me give you the second reason why we are going to receive the Antichrist. The second reason is that I was reading the book of Revelation, and when you study these churches, you begin to see that there is an Antichrist who's going around, but the church is largely compromised. The church is corrupt. The church lost their first love. The church is lukewarm. When we hear Christ saying, you have forsaken your first love, we like to preach about that, but contextually, it's a church during the reign of the Antichrist. And he says, these people have forsaken their first love. And the weird thing about that church, it looked like they were doing things right. It says you have a reputation of being alive, but you are dead. So that is the church during the reign of the Antichrist. And the majority of the church believes that they are alive, but they are dead. There's this scripture that has been punching my heart that says, if you are failing to run with men, how do you expect to run with horses? The book of Revelation exposes to us the church that is failing to run with men. You know, they were joining secret societies in the book of Revelation chapter 2. So they were failing to run with men. We today, we are failing to run with men. We are allowing wokeism to take over the church. Our music is worldly music. Our movies are worldly movies. So we are failing to run with men. And if we are in this situation, how do we expect to run with a horse like the Antichrist, who himself is the white horse in the book of Revelation? Now, the third reason is his irresistible gifts. And I'm concerned because not many people teach about these gifts. But this is the third reason why we are going to embrace and worship the Antichrist if we are not careful. Luke chapter 4 verse 6, Satan comes to Jesus and he says, I will give you all the power and the splendor of these kingdoms. I give them to whoever I want because it has been delivered to me. I was in a conversation and the man said, he says, we are kings and queens. We cannot be seen wearing clothes of lower brands or carrying devices. If it's not a Sony camera, it's not a good camera. If it's not an iPhone, it's not a good phone. He says, we are children of the King. We ought to always carry the best. So he was saying that splendor, it's something that must always follow us. In the mind, I removed myself out of this conversation because I remember when I came to Christ, I used to be one of those people who says, I cannot walk on the street if my dress from head to my toe, if it's less than 3,000 rands. Before I was saved, I used to say, I can't carry any phone, I can't wear any clothes. And then here I was in front of a child of God, and the child of God was saying the same. So splendor, it's his weakness. Splendor is going to be the first gift that he proposes. And you know how I know that Satan is not only talking to Jesus here? I know that because Daniel chapter 11 verse 24 exposes us to more of his gifts that he's going to give to the world. Daniel 11 verse 24, it says, he will distribute loot or spoils, and he will distribute wealth, and he will distribute property to his followers. We are not taught about these gifts today in the church, unfortunately. These are the things that he's going to begin to entice us to him with. Loot, wealth, property. So gift number 1, prestige, authority. Gift number 2, loot. Gift number 3, wealth. Gift number 4, property. How many of us are praying for wealth today? How many of us are praying for property today?
And on my way there, God said, go make my people rich. I was coming here. He said, go make my people rich. I said, spiritually, God said, no, physically do it. I'm here to make somebody rich. I'm unapologetic.
If the church is praying for wealth, he will come with wealth and he says, here I am. I'm here to answer your prayers. Here is the wealth. Here's the property. Those are irresistible gifts that we are not being told about. So we are taught to prepare ourselves for a military confrontation. But what is actually coming, it's a diplomatic somebody proposing things to us. He will say, future, you don't have a house. Here's a house. You can live in it for free with terms and conditions. So what am I going to say? I don't have a house. We need to know that that's where the church is going to find herself in. We are going to be in a position of not being able to access the system. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is that the war platform that the Antichrist is going to use, his first weapon of choice, is going to be to attack our flesh. He's not going to be to cut our heads off, but it's going to be to attack our desires, our hungers, our thirst. This is what we need to do. We need to learn a simple life. Train yourself today to live without your favorite burger joint. Even myself, I'm going back to when I was trained, when we were in training at school. They said, here in the school, you are going to fast 2 times minimum. They said Friday we are fasting for the whole school. And you must choose one day, which is your personal day of fasting. So that's 2 days. And if you are a leader, you must choose another day, which is 3 days, where you will be fasting for the department that you are leading. Even if you are leading sports, they say you must choose the 3rd day where you will be praying for your sports department or your hospitality department or your whatever department. So we had 3 days or 2 days minimum in the week where we were fasting. That's what we need to teach ourselves, to live a fasted life. I need you to know that we have entered, I can't say we are entering, we have entered the age of deception. And this deception, the Bible calls it the great delusion, and it's going to manifest itself in so many ways. And one of the ways that it's going to manifest itself is going to be through the appearance of aliens to the world, physically speaking. So if you want to check our exegesis on aliens, click on the video that is popping up on your screen right now. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching this video. Shalom, shalom, shalom.